It's Kennedy Japan, who would create jobs for many unemployed youth and present a tougher contest for NDC in the 2028 general elections. Christian Yali visited the Kwame Nkrumah Circle in Accra and centers this interaction. I'll bring that to you much later, but let's head to, of course, the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, where Christian Yali is standing by. Christian, tell us, what have the people been saying?
In fact, it is a split view among these citizens who are keenly looking forward to the NPP flag bearer election, which comes off tomorrow. There are many who are of the view that when you talk about Dr. Bawumia, he is proven and tested over the period when he served as the vice president and even when he was elected as the flag bearer for the 2024 election. He did great, and so for which reason they think the party cannot introduce a new person. It will be difficult to sell that candidate. It will be difficult to market a new person. So they believe, that section of the school of thought believes that Dr. Bawumia should be maintained or re-elected. But there are others who think that, if anything at all, people vote to be given jobs. People vote to see an improvement in their economic life. And so there is that need to vote for Kennedy Japan, who they believe has established a lot of businesses across the country and employed a lot of people already, even though he is not a president. And so once elected as flag bearer, and should he eventually become the president of the country, then there is that hope and that assurance that Kennedy Japan is able to, turn things around and improve the country's industrialization and give them the needed jobs. In fact, I spoke to one gentleman earlier before you called me just a while ago, who tells me that Kennedy Japan is his candidate, and if the NPP does not bring Kennedy Japan, he is going to marshal some 3,000 people to vote against NPP in the general election. He tells me he is an organizer in the circle area. There is another who says Kennedy Japan has built a mansion where he stays and does not pay rent, and so he is someone you can vote for. In fact, throughout my engagement, the other three candidates do not get to be mentioned by about the 6 or more people that I engaged just some few minutes earlier around the Kwame Nkrumah Circle area.
And so it seems a lot of them are inching towards Kennedy Japan rather than Dr. Bawumia. Is that what you're saying?
It is very split, because across you have like 3 people speaking for Dr. Bawumia, and you have about 3 people also speaking for Kennedy Japan. So in fact, at a point, it became almost like a debate or argument where this mentions the achievement of one person, the other mentions a counter achievement, and that was becoming the trend. It was more like a disco where you have people giving counter views or claims of who they think is the preferred candidate who could eventually, turn the fortunes of NPP around and win them election 2028, and whom they think could be a potential candidate to give the NDC a tighter contest. And so it is largely between Dr. Bawumia and Kennedy Japan, but you know that already there are prophecies and there are polls that are tilting in either way, some going for Dr. Bawumia, some going for Kennedy Japan. What I can tell you assuredly is that it all depends on how the outcome of tomorrow's election across the 276 constituencies is going to be. Over 211,000 delegates across 333 polling stations. It is going to be one interesting one.
Very interesting one indeed. Christian Yali, thank you so much for your time. He has been bringing us all the details as regards to some of the opinions of some delegates and Ghanaians who belong to the New Patriotic Party. It seemed to be a tie amongst those he spoke to, some saying that they're going to vote for Dr. Bawumia, while others say that they're going to vote for Kennedy Japan. But all in all, we're yet to see really what will be the outcome of the MPP presidential primaries come tomorrow, January 31. But of course, Kennedy Japan was also one of the candidates who addressed the nation yesterday night. Let's see what he said.
We cannot afford revenge politics. Our true task is not defeating one another. Our true task is rebuilding trust in the Ghanaian people. Dear delegates, I'm appealing to you to vote for me on Saturday. What I want to remind you is we are not just going to elect a flag bearer, but a winnable candidate who can give us a victory in 2028. And there's no other candidate than Kennedy Japan. So victory will be ours in 2028 if you decide on Kennedy Japan on Saturday. A candidate that is trusted, inspires hope, accepted, and capable of winning the MPP power in 2028. And I can Ohine Japan, number 1 on the ballot remains.
Well, you heard the Kennedy Japan. Let's take a listen to the other 2 remaining candidates, Engineer Kwabena Ejay Japan, as well as Brian Echampong. I'll bring you that sound much later. We're going to stay on this particular subject because we know that a political analyst, Dr. Jonathan Asante-Ottare, says the party structure and programs favor the candidate of the establishment. He spoke on Hot Edition.
The unfortunate thing is that those at the helm of affairs of the party have their own interest. And that's the more reason why they've not been able to crack the whip from a sincere, from a fair, transparent, and unbiased perspective. And so, like, what happens if a particular member of the party speaks, then you see that people are hurriedly trying to sanction that person. When another person speaks otherwise, then you see that the party is quiet. So if that is the case, it is going to be difficult, exacting the kind of sanctions that can be used against these vote buying processes. And so it is equally as difficult as what happens in our daily system, where people, corrupt the processes, the system, and once it is done in secrecy, it becomes a little much of a difficulty trying to find out who is doing what and the kind of sanctions that can be exacted against these people.
Well, we'll bring you that sound once again of Brian Echampong as well as Engineer Kwabena Ejay Japan.
Maybe a party that do know. Meaning, sir, who bet to Obama me. Nemo Mr. Say, me pass 2-3 days. Okay. Robert Kame home. Naya Sally.
Professor Dubois to Romano 92. Me support Akufo-Addo 98. Emma President Kufuor 2023. Me can even do no. And Sumenya no. Itumi usi ho. Eye adwuma. Emma Baumiani party no. Inti I'm the only aspirant who has served this party from 1992. I've worked with the Dubois. Mene Kufuor aye adwuma. Many Akufo-Addo aye adwuma. Many Baumiani so aye adwuma. Minam yi mati se maka bibi etie obi da. Mati se maka bibi etie obi da. Obi ankama ye President Kufuor ne kasa maafo. Mfiensia thank you akofa me tapes ke ebom. Nenso so omo tete me se asem bia meka bia memfa adwene ento ho.
Well, you heard there the other candidates that are contesting the MPP presidential primaries come tomorrow. It's certainly going to be a keen contest. Now, we're going to head to the Bono East region because preparations are being finalized for the crucial presidential primaries. Now, with approximately 8,000 delegates expected to cast their votes across the region, party officials are leaving nothing to chance. They have deployed a strategic security apparatus designed to preempt any surprises and ensure integrity in the internal poll. Well, let's take a listen to the regional EC boss, Dr. Gabriel De Yeboah.
Everything has been handed over to Electoral Commission. So we are in fully charge of the conduct of the election. No party executive, election committee again. So we are going to handle it the way we have been handling normal elections. Yeah, so nobody should entertain any fear that any political party chairman or secretary can influence anything. No. At this stage, it's the Electoral Commission that has taken charge. Every voter has one vote, and every voter will come and vote as individual voter. No matter your status, if you are coming with measurement, they cannot enter. You are going to enter the arena individually, and every voter has one vote. 1,963 voters in all. And the elections are going to take place at 12 polling stations, 2 in Teshima South and 1 in each constituency. Yeah, so we are expecting 7,963 people to come and vote.
We can now hear from the regional MPP chairman, Ibrahim Baba Bukari.
The most prepared candidate among all, the most disciplined candidate among all as it stands now is Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. He is the candidate, I think, in my opinion, that should we vote for him, he will be able to wrestle power from the NDC come 2028. And that is the reason why I'm for Bawumia.
We're going to move away from the upcoming election and head to the NDC camp now. Political analyst Professor Samuel Edujemfi says a decision by the National Democratic Congress directing all government appointees who have interest in contesting for the party office will inure to the benefit of the party. Well, the National Democratic Congress has directed all government appointees who have interest in contesting for a party office to resign at least 6 months to any of the party's internal elections. Well, the governing party says this move is targeted at ending greed and giving equal chances to deserving members. Chairpersons and members of the board are excluded from this directive. Let's hear this report now on this particular issue. Well, we're going to bring you that report much shortly, but of course we've heard from the political analyst Professor Samuel Edujemfi, who says this decision is in the right direction.
Can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, if you look at it from the macro level analysis, the status level analysis, if the people within the state decide to jettison the constitution of the state, it leads to anarchy. Especially if you look at it at the micro level analysis, here at the party level, right, or institutional level analysis, is the framework, the constitution, the policy which guides the institution, if they are set aside and people decide to do what they want to do, it creates a form of cacophony, it creates conflictual situations, and it does not augur well for the party. It does not allow it to leverage within its own internal constitutional arrangement. It makes the party ungovernable and chaotic. And so if the party is doing this today, then we are setting the record straight to allow for the party's policy or constitutional internal framework to serve as an undergirding for any superstructure they want to build their own. So I think it's the right way to go. Let actors, whether within the current context, learn from it. If there are breaches, there are ways for remedy. What the constitution of the party says should be adhered to with no encumbrances.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has reiterated his commitment to the fight against galamsey, stressing that he will continue decisively and without fear or favor. Speaking at the Ghana Military Academy, he says while there are positive results, he will not be complacent and relent in the strikes against illegal mining. He has meanwhile expressed concerns about the threats of violent extremism and terrorism, particularly on Ghana's northern borders, stressing that national security must not be seen as the sole responsibility of the state security agencies.
Distinguished guests, the security environment in our sub-region remains complicated and volatile. Violent extremism, terrorism, and transnational crime continue to pose serious threats, particularly along our northern border. Globally, the rise of non-state actors and asymmetric warfare has reshaped the nature of security challenges. These realities demand a comprehensive and coordinated national response. Security cannot be seen as the sole responsibility of the armed forces and security agencies. It is a shared national duty. Citizens, communities, traditional authorities, civil society, and government must work together to protect the peace and stability we all so cherish. I therefore urge all Ghanaians to remain vigilant and security conscious in safeguarding our nation's peace.
Now, away from that, the special prosecutor, Judith Brown, is alleging a smear campaign engineered by persons under investigation with the aim of ensuring that the office is scrapped. While in the open address to the OSP's half-year report, Judith Brown remains or maintains that all investigative bodies currently in existence will be scrapped if they were subjected to the same level of scrutiny as his office. But lawyer Martin Pebu has described the statement by the OSP as unfortunate and reckless.
Our statement, with due respect, is unfortunate, regrettable. I mean, I can't believe that a public officer would use state resources to make such a statement. It's something that we, at the appropriate time, we can surcharge him for. That is very much unlike a public officer. A public officer cannot speak like that. It's regrettable. Very reckless. We don't use state resources to do that. It's not the Office of Special Prosecutor, that's the OSP. It's not his private business. It's very public. Yeah, a public officer can state that. He should go ahead and name the persons, because if what he's saying, he's imputing wrongdoing to those people, okay, who are behind and sponsoring. So since he knows them, he should name them so that we would take those persons on and the requisite investigations will be done. That's the same way he came and did Ankwa Numa press conference. He couldn't name who was worrying him, etc. Later, it turned out that, oh, he was helping Oforiatta because, you know, the Manasseh Azure, this is a revelation. The diary of action that came out, it came out that Judith Brown started SML investigations on 29th of January 2025 when Oforiatta had already bolted, etc. There are other cases that he suppressed, cases involving his previous clients, he has suppressed, etc. So we've had more than enough of his such previous statements pointing fingers, but not ready to be accountable for his own misjudgments, etc. We've had more than enough. This is a public office. We've had more than enough. I've always supported him. I thought that, oh, he was on a good cause. At that time, I hadn't seen the dossier of wrongdoings, etc., that he's been engaged in. Since I saw that, the scales have fallen off my eyes.
Meanwhile, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has directed the Ghana Health Service to submit an integrity plan by March 31, 2026, after findings showed that a private company collected disinfection fees at the country's ports and kept the funds in its private accounts. Well, the directive follows a corruption risk assessment completed last month, which found that LCB Worldwide Ghana Limited retained revenues meant for the state without effective oversight. Well, let's do some education stories now. The Education Minister, Haruna Idrisu, is this afternoon making a case for a relook at the contingency fund for the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service to address emergencies. The minister believes that proper planning and budgeting is crucial to respond to these emergencies. The minister, who was speaking at Nobisco, where he assessed the impact of a fire incident, also promised the construction of a girls' dormitory for Nobisco and Laboni Senior High School to be funded by Gallup and Get Fund. On Wednesday, January 28, a fire outbreak ravaged the girls' dormitory of the Northern School of Business in Tamale, displacing some 900 female students. Let's take you now to Tamale, where my colleague Christopher Marco is joining us with more details on this. Chris, what else has the minister been saying?
Yes, so Judith, the minister has also been appealing to school authorities to immediately get temporary place to house the girls who have been displaced. As it stands now, the school has located a place and is also condemning the dining hall facility into a dormitory facility for the boys, such that the girls can move into the boys' dormitory in the meantime. We do also know that the students who have been asked to go home for a week have, and according to the school authorities, they are going to contact them to come and be in temporary accommodation so that they will be able to continue with teaching and learning, that is academic activity. So the school in itself is putting in measures temporarily to ensure that the students get back to school to continue with academic work. But the minister insists that a new dormitory facility will be constructed for the Northern School of Business. Let's take a listen to what the minister has been saying.
As you are asking that you want the second years to get home so that you focus on those who write another SSS, so that I'm not blamed or Director General is not blamed for poor performance of senior high school student. We would give it the needed urgent attention. But the desire will be that maybe we relocate the girls' dormitory, and then we have a lot of land around here. You know, I come to play football sometimes here, so I see you have a lot of space. We should get a completely new girls' dormitory for Nobisco. But as I said, we're already in the process of procurement. It's before the Minister for Finance just to give approval for Gallup financing for a girls' dormitory here, and then another one to respond to the Laboni tragedy. I remind the minister this morning, so we are here to empathize with you. I know that immediately you would need some relief support.
Well, Chris, we know that second years have also been asked to go home in the meantime. How soon are they expected to return? Hello, Chris.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm asking, we know that the second years have been asked to go home. How soon are they expected to return?
Yes, so they will be returning very soon because they have been a very temporal facility.
Well, it seems we're having a challenge with Christopher Marco's line. But of course, let's take a listen to the headmaster of Nobisco on this particular subject.
There is a structure that we call Jerusalem block. It's a 12-unit classroom block. That if these two do not work, then we look at that structure that we had complained about, but some technical assessment was done on its integrity by AESL. And they told us that the 6 classrooms down are fit for use, that they only have a technical issue with the top. So management is of the view that when we are pushed to the wall, we may have to bar, I hope I'm okay, and entrance to the top floor. We close it and then relocate still the boys. It is the boys who can move, because from the terrain, the girls, if they are moved beyond this place, we are going to be in serious crisis.
Now, the Monitoring and Evaluation Office of the National Security at Kwame Nkrumah Circle in Accra has arrested one Prince Kwame Pogli, a suspect who was earlier declared wanted by the police for duping different people in Accra. Well, his offense is defrauding by false pretense, contrary to Section 1311 of the Criminal Offences Act. Well, the suspect, who is currently in the grips of the National Security, is said to have undertaken his alleged fraudulent activities with the help of two police officers who have also been arrested Friday morning. National Security officers told 3FM that they will take them through the necessary protocols for prosecution and charges. And that's how we wrap up the midday news right here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Judith Brown. A pleasure coming to you this afternoon. Do stay tuned. Business News is up next.
Good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, consumers' satisfaction plummets to record low of 59%, and the Ghana Chamber of Mines says scrapping of value-added tax on mineral exploration sends strong signal for Ghana's mining future. Plus, Vice President Professor J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman says execution, not just vision, will define Africa's trade future.
We have seen across the continent reflects efforts, coordination, and leadership. To sustain that momentum, we must continue to invest deliberately in some interconnected areas.
I am Michael Obodu. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please stay. Well, thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story now. Ghana's overall customer satisfaction score has fallen sharply, dropping from 72% in 2024 to 59% in 2025, according to the latest Ghana Customer Service Index. The report assessed customer experience across 11 key industries using indicators such as trust, professionalism, competence, ease of doing business, process efficiency, and customer-focused innovation. The following 3 Business News Desk report has more.
The insurance sector emerged as the best performing industry with a satisfaction score of 71%, followed by the banking sector at 61%. As the bottom of the rankings was the telecommunication sector, which recorded a 53% score despite being one of the most digitized sectors of the economy. The survey analyzed feedback from more than 5,000 customers across Accra, Kumasi, and other regions. It found that trust remains the most important driver of customer satisfaction across all sectors. Within the banking sector, Stanbic Bank recorded the highest satisfaction score at 76%, followed by EcoBank with 64%. In hospitality, Aqua Safari remained the top performing brand with an 81% rating, although this was down from last year. Utilities ranked among the top 4 performing sectors, with Ghana Water Limited emerging as the best performing utility. In the public sector, the Ghana Revenue Authority led the rankings, followed by SNIT and the Food and Drugs Authority. The institute says organizations must improve service quality and build stronger customer-focused cultures to restore public confidence.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report. Away from that, the Ghana Chamber of Mines has lauded the government's decision to abolish the value-added tax VAT on mineral exploration, calling it a transformative move to secure the nation's long-term mining output. The chamber emphasized that the tax removal restores the purchasing power of exploration budgets. It noted that under the previous regime, roughly 22% of every dollar brought into the country for exploration was consumed by VAT, leaving only 78% for actual field work. While celebrating the tax relief, the chamber warned that regulatory uncertainty surrounding the ongoing review of the Mining Act still lingers. To ensure the current gold boom benefits future generations, the chamber renewed its call for a Mineral Revenues Management Act. The surge in gold prices past the $5,000 mark reinforces expectations of a massive revenue windfall for Ghana, provided the legislative framework remains stable and attractive to foreign capital. Away from that, Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman has issued a powerful call for accountability and tangible results in Africa's quest for economic integration, stating that the continent's progress will ultimately be measured by its ability to deliver on infrastructure and institutional trust. Speaking at the closing ceremony of the Africa Trade Summit 2026 in Accra, the Vice President emphasized that vision alone is no longer enough to sustain the momentum of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
When our vision is assessed in the future, it will be judged by whether infrastructure projects were completed within a reasonable time and cost, whether firms scaled or remained competitive, whether trade was cost-effective, faster and predictable, and whether institutions retained trust. The momentum we have seen across the continent reflects efforts, coordination, and leadership. To sustain that momentum, we must continue to invest deliberately in some interconnected areas, including the following. First, intra-African trade. Second, an industrial policy that supports priority sectors, builds skills, and embraces sustainable production. Third, infrastructure and connectivity. Fourth, innovation and technology. And finally, institutional capacity and governance, without which no reform can endure.
That was Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyeman. Government of Ghana showed no signs of slowing its domestic fundraising efforts as it returned to the Treasury bill market today. The Treasury targeted 6.997 billion cedis in a move that market analysts believe could secure a 5th consecutive oversubscription in the first month of the year.
The upcoming auction on January 30, 2026 features the standard 3-tenor structure offering 91-day, 182-day and 364-day bills. This latest target of 6.997 billion cedis represents a strategic adjustment in volume following a massive last week's auction where Government of Ghana successfully accepted 12.80 billion cedis from a pool of 15.91 billion cedis in total bids. The high demand for short-term government securities comes at a time when interest rates are showing slight broad-based increases. Currently, yields are 91-day bill at 11.20%, 182-day bill at 12.67%, and 364-day bill at 13.07%. Despite the slight uptick in yields, investor confidence remains robust. The heavy reliance on the T-bill market is a central pillar of the government's 2026 domestic borrowing plan, with the Bank of Ghana having recently slashed the policy rate to 15.5%. Government is keen to capitalize on the high liquidity in the banking sector. The funds raised are expected to cover maturing debts and support the primary surplus targets. Market watchers will be keen to see if the government can maintain its perfect record for January. A 5th consecutive oversubscription would provide a strong fiscal cushion as the country enters the second month of the year.
And And that was a 3 Business News Desk report, bringing an end to today's edition of Business Daily. For more business stories, please visit our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obudu. Thank you for tuning in. As always, please stay safe. Up next is Urban Blend, and Black Rasta is on standby. Do stay tuned.